Sifasom Kwanatsi. That's the name of the man arrested in October 2022 after the grisly discovery of the bodies of 6 women, believed to be sex workers, in a panel beating workshop in the Joburg city center. One afternoon in the middle of the week when children were playing a game of soccer on a pockmarked pathway that winds around half a dozen identical blocks of flats in downtown Fordsburg. A man was standing outside the local tuck shop pointing out the block where the suspect was arrested after the discovery of the bodies of 6 women. The gruesome find was made at his father's panel beating workshop, where he also works. According to his neighbors, the 22-year-old had been living here for about 4 years. But they still didn't know anything about him, describing him as a loner, who comes and goes like a ghost in the night. Multiple residents confirmed his stepmother ran a creche from their flat, but most had never interacted with him, save for the occasional greeting in the corridors. He was barely ever home, they said, and when he was always on his phone. He always seemed lonely, one said. A friend of the family revealed he moved here, to his father's home, around 4 years ago, but that he grew up in Soweto, with his mother. She had never seen him with a woman. Not even with a friend that I can think of, she added. But she described him as humble and polite, saying he had never even been in a fight as far as she knew and that she would never have suspected he could be a murderer. Law enforcement agencies are still working to try and confirm the identities of the victims, who are believed to be sex workers. In the meantime, National Sex Workers Movement Sisonke has received reports of at least 13 women having gone missing from the CBD in recent months. It's unknown at this stage if any of them are among the 6 women whose bodies were found. But a friend of one woman who disappeared more than a month ago says they fear the worst. The last time Thandi saw her friend Zianda was early last month. They were at the Dower building, a popular hostel where Thandi said many of the missing women often stayed. Most of the blacked-out windows had been smashed in, but it's too dark inside to see anything anyway. According to a flyer, 60 Rand, which is equivalent to $3.46, covers one person for one night and gets you a bed, a locker, a shower, and a toilet. Thandi said the mood on the street had changed since women started going missing. It had become quieter, and business has taken a dip. She described 20-year-old Zianda, who grew up in Durban, as a good friend. She was funny, talkative and kind, the life of the party and always in high heels. She would wear them the whole night, even the whole day. She wears like long heels, and dances, up and down N Street, she said. She was also a doting mother to her daughter before the infant's death a few years ago. Not knowing what happened to her friend was painful for Thandi. And despite the fact that police have a suspect in custody, she also still fears for her own safety. I am scared as well if he had somebody he's working with, she said. She has been working in the sex industry for 9 years. Some incidents aren't uncommon, she said. You could find a client who left you there by the mountain and you come walking yourself down there or take your money, doesn't pay you, but not missing or dying. The disappearances first started around July. They quickly identified similarities in all the cases. All the women seemed to have disappeared on a Sunday, during the day. They also identified a suspect, a young man, small in stature, who was always driving different cars. They had been taking extra precautions since then, but women had continued to go missing. Thandi has always had a knack for numbers and wanted to be a chartered accountant when she was at school. Her parents died when she was young and she grew up in a children's home, and after she fell pregnant in matric, she was kicked out. She never finished school in the end, and this seemed the easiest way for her to make a living after her daughter was born. Her daughter lives with her paternal grandparents, but Thandi sends money back for her every month. No one knows where the money comes from. She recently thought about quitting. But she said she had to put food on the table. People don't understand that we are mothers. It's not because we are standing there because we are horny or something. We need money, "It's like any other job," she said. Sifiso Mkhwanatsi made his third appearance in the Johannesburg Magistrates' Court on Tuesday. The court had previously ordered the media not to name him pending an ID parade. On Tuesday, the court heard that the ID parade had now been concluded. The state has told the court that the ID parade has now been concluded and was successful. As a result, the bar on naming the accused has now been lifted. The court also heard that Sifiso Mkhwanatsi's father recently visited him in jail and pleaded with him to confess. Mkhwanatsi wasn't happy about the visit and through his legal team, asked for the court to ban his father from coming to see him again. The court did not oblige, saying if he didn't want to meet with anyone, then he could decline to do so, but pleading with the state not to coerce him into confessing unless it was of his own volition. Mkhwanatsi has now indicated he wants to apply for bail. He is currently facing only one charge of murder, but investigations are ongoing.